Every fall, when the leaves begin to die, something else wakes up. For decades, people have come forward with stories they were never able to forget. Stories that began with simple autumn nights, and ended with questions no investigator has answered. What you're about to hear isn't folklore. These are documented accounts. Interviews. Recordings. Evidence recovered from scenes where something went very wrong. Stay with me, because story number 1 contains a piece of evidence that trained responders still refuse to talk about. Fall isn't just cozy weather, it's the season when disappearances, sightings, and unexplained encounters spike. Across the country, reports rise every year as temperatures drop and daylight slips away faster than most people notice. The campground visitor. The leaf pile. The maze that never let them out. These accounts were collected from eyewitness interviews, responding officers, and recordings recovered from the scenes. Some of the details didn't make it into official files, but they're all here. Watch carefully, each story contains a hidden detail you'll only notice on a rewatch. Our first story comes from a couple who traveled to this park every fall to photograph the changing colors. They knew the trails. They knew the overlooks. They knew the rhythms of this place. But that year, something felt different. From the moment they arrived, they felt watched. They couldn't explain it. A pressure from the trees. A sense of eyes following each step. They wrote about it in a journal found later in their tent. They reported hearing footsteps in the woods, but only when they moved. When they stopped, the sound stopped. When they continued, it followed, always 3 or 4 paces behind. They dismissed it as another hiker at first. But the trails had closed hours earlier. They thought it was an animal, until they heard the slow rhythm. Not scurrying. Not searching. Dragging. Like someone testing the weight of the tent from the outside. Someone was crouched right outside the tent. They described feeling the fabric press inward, as if a face, or a hand, leaned against it from the outside. Encircling the tent were footprints. Several of them. Deep, clear impressions in the soft dirt. Barefoot. Every print pointed toward the tent, but there were none leading away. Whatever stood outside, never walked off in any direction. Their camera, left recording at the foot of the sleeping bag, captured what they didn't see. Would you have stayed the night, or packed and run? When rangers examined the site, they confirmed they'd seen the same signs before. This happens every October. But we've never caught whoever, or whatever, does it. Whatever watched them that night, wasn't a person. Our second account happened in a neighborhood most people would consider safe. Quiet. Predictable. The kind of place where every fall, families gather for the annual cleanup. This story comes from a mother who lost her 6-year-old son, for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. But it felt like the world stopped. Before he disappeared, her son kept staring at the main pile the neighbors had built together. "Mom, someone's under there." She brushed it off as imagination. But he wouldn't step closer. Wouldn't even play near it. During the cleanup, the boy vanished. The last place he was seen was right beside the pile he was afraid of. Witnesses described it moving the way a chest does, when someone is lying underneath it. I heard him. I heard him say my name. "Mom, help." There should have been evidence of where he went, the narrator says. But every search came up empty. A man of leaves pulled me down. Have you ever seen something move in a leaf pile? Comment below. Neighbors later admitted something else. The maze that never let them out. Our final account comes from a group of teenagers who visited a popular fall attraction, a corn maze created every year on a family-owned farm. What makes this case especially disturbing is that it's tied to a real missing persons investigation still open to this day. Visitors reported an eerie calm settling over the maze that evening. No wind. No sounds. Just the faint whisper of dry leaves shifting on their own. Do you hear that? No one else is in there, he insists. They began to realize the paths were changing, but only when they weren't looking directly at them. That wasn't here before. There were no mechanisms. No wires. No moving parts. The scarecrow was not designed to turn at all. Recalculating. Recalculating. They had no explanation for how they reached the opposite end of the property. Which story scared you the most? Tell me so I know which ones to cover next. Before we continue, here are a few things about fall most people don't know. Fact 1: October-November disappearances. According to multiple backcountry reports, more people vanish in forests between October and November than any other time of year. Hikers. Campers. Kids playing outside. The numbers spike, and no one knows why. Fact 2: Folklore origins. Ancient folklore called fall the thinning. They believed it's the season when spirits walk closer to the living, because the world grows quiet enough for them to listen. Fact 3: Restricted national park logs. And here's the part that unsettles most people: many national parks don't publicly release their fall incident records. Search and rescue teams say it's to avoid panic. But what kind of panic, exactly? If you want a full deep dive on real fall disappearances, hit like and tell me below. I'll cover the ones most channels won't touch. Story 1: The campground visitor. A couple comes for fall photos, and end up capturing something they never saw with their own eyes. Notice the footprints. Deep, barefoot. All pointing toward the tent. None leading away. And if you rewatch carefully, the breathing you hear outside the tent, it doesn't match either of the campers. Story 2: The leaf pile. A child disappears for 2 minutes, pulled underground by something that shouldn't exist. When the mother digs, she finds cold earth. A hollow. But no sign of him. Listen closely: when the leaf pile breathes, there's a second sound layered underneath. A dragging sound, like fingernails against soil. Story 3: The corn maze. A maze that shifts. A scarecrow that watches. Teens who walk in, and come out miles away. Many viewers miss this. Look again at the scarecrow's shadow. It doesn't fall in the same direction as the teens' shadows. Each story you just watched hides a detail most people will miss the first time. In story 1, did you catch what was wrong with the scarecrow's shadow? If you didn't, you might want to go back. Before I end this video, there's something you should know. These weren't random events. All 3 happened within the same 20-mile radius. Every fall, reports come in, different places, different witnesses, but always the same description. A tall figure moving between the trees. Seen just before sunset. Seen standing where the leaves gather the deepest. Seen inside cornfields, watching. Rangers say it walks the old logging trails. Parents say it lingers near piles of leaves. And some swear it follows travelers who camp alone. If you hear leaves crunch behind you tonight, don't look back.